Hey folks, Mike Thomas here. I'm a registered pharmacist turned health coach. I help people lose weight by incorporating more plants in their diet. Today I want to talk about going fast versus going slow when converting to plants. Let's get it started. So the first thing with regards to plant and going plant-based, you can go 100%, you can jump all in 100%, or you can take it slow over the course of time, making gradual changes. What works best is really what works best for you as an individual. Everybody is different. Some people like to go in 100%, some people like to take it slow. My recommendation is to, in fact, take it slow and take it gradually, and I've got a few reasons why that's important. Number one, if you're going to convert to plants, you have to think about the adaptation, what's going on with your gastrointestinal system, right? If you're in the typical standard American diet, about 10% of what you eat today is plant-based. 57% is processed food, so you've got a lot of chemicals, you've got a lot of junk, you've got very little fiber. You also have the animal products. So if you're going to slowly, incrementally increase plants to the degree that makes the most sense for you, you probably want to take your time with that because your gastrointestinal system is going to need to adapt to those fibers, right? So incredibly important. If you don't take your time and you jump in, you could get additional bloating and gas, which is very normal, and over the course of time, that typically subsides. So the first one is really the digestive adaptation reason. Number two is the taste adjustment. So first and foremost, don't be thinking, oh gosh, yeah, plants, they suck. I don't like plants. I can't believe you do this. You have salads all the time. It's really not about that, but I can tell you that my tastes have adapted so much differently to plants and the different textures that I consume currently and my clients consume as well. So it does take a little bit of time, but over the course of time, the food continues to taste better and better. Especially since we're typically used to the hyperpalative foods, which they taste so good and they taste so strong that maybe aren't so healthy for us. So the taste adjustment and the taste adaptation is number two. Number three is meal planning and logistics. So converting to plant-based, one of the reasons we do that is because we want to be more healthy, right? But it's not necessarily as convenient as going through a drive-thru at your local restaurant or fast food joint, right? So there's a lot of very unhealthy, very tasty sometimes foods, but very unhealthy foods that are a lot more convenient for us. So the logistics piece of what am I going to do to plan to make sure that when I'm hungry, I'm actually consuming and fueling my body with these healthy foods. So incredibly important. Because of that, when you start slow in the process of planning what your breakfasts are going to be or what have you, it takes a little bit of time, but that organization process and planning is incredibly important. So if you start slow, it's going to be a little bit easier. And the last part is sustainability, right? If you jump in something 100%, it's that much more difficult initially to stick to it, right? And therefore, you potentially will give up. The chances of you giving up are greater. If you go slow and you make incremental changes over time, the chances that you're going to stick with it are greater. And ultimately, that's the reason we do it, because we want it to be a sustainable behavior change versus something that we do because we're on a diet and we want to get to a set point. We want to lose 20 or 30 pounds, right? This is really not a diet. This is actually a lifestyle. I think you can get some of the results that you're looking for, i.e. lower cholesterol, lower weight, etc. by doing this. But if you adapt to it and you stick with it, sustainability-wise, you can maintain that weight level or that cholesterol level for the long term. Now, I've been talking with you for the last few minutes about how important it is to try to incrementally make some small changes to go plant-based to the degree that makes the most sense for you. Maybe you want to go 50%. Maybe you want to go 75%. I'm personally about 90% plant-based, right? So it's whatever really makes the most sense for you. Ironically, my own personal story, I actually jumped in with both feet. My wife and I both did, January 1st, 2017, and we both struggled, but I struggled mightily with a lot of the things that I'm talking to you about. A lot of the things that I'm talking with you about today is where I struggled with the digestive issues was my number one challenge. 9 days later, I was literally on the floor of the bathroom and with so many cramps, etc. So TMI, I understand, but ultimately what I want to do is just help you and support you in the capacity of making that sustainable behavior change. incrementally, I think most people do that, slowly but surely, and then able to make that sustainable change. Lastly, I just want to mention, as you're thinking about, or you're considering, or you're leaning more into plants, I want you to consider the belief that you have that going plant-based really supports what it is that you want to have in your lifestyle, right? I believe that if I go plant-based, that it's going to help me, it's going to support me, and I'm going to be healthier, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning I don't believe that at all, 10 meaning absolutely I believe that, where would you stand in that, right? It's important that that number is on the higher end, and that kind of makes sense, common sense, but I want to share that with you because wherever your number is, if your number is not high, the chances of you're going to be successful sustainability-wise, again, that's what we're looking for, it's not going to happen, right? You have to be at a point where I believe that this actually works for me, right? And there's things that you can do to help you with that belief. Obviously, education and information. I've got a lot of resources. Just let me know and I can support you. But it's important that you believe that this works. If you don't believe that this works, you might as well not even try it because it will not be sustainable. You can be in a position, however, of, well, I think maybe, and I'd like to do this experiment for a month or two or what have you. I think that's okay too, because that can validate where you're going with it overall. So belief is incredibly important, and I'm sure I'm going to have a video in the future about that, but I want to just get you in a place where you believe that this is possible and you believe that this is going to be helpful for you. So I'm going to close it out now. Appreciate sharing this with you. Gradual, I think, going slow, going low and going slow is the way to go initially. That's just my own personal opinion. Again, it does depend on the personality of the individual that's jumping in and the sense of urgency as well. So if you like this, please feel free to share it with others. Please feel free to like it, subscribe, etc. That gets more views and gets information out there to help people and support them as they make a change for better wellness in their lives. Out for now. Take care. God bless.